No, no, no.
Oh, sweet.
I love her. Today's.
Can everybody please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notification of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the record and posting notice of this meeting in Borough Hall in the superintendent's office. I hereby call to order the public meeting of the Little Ferry Board of Education, Thursday, November 22nd, 2024 at 7:01 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Curtoli.
Here.
Mrs. Patel.
Here.
Mr. Petros. Here. Mr. Godley. Mr. Neely. Here. Mr. Losuzo.
Here.
Mr. Voracek. Here. Mr. Brunelli. Here. Mrs. Bradley.
Here.
Ms. Augustine.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Be resolved that the Little Ferry Board of Education approves the minutes of the regular public meeting held on October 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second. Mrs. Curtoli.
Yes.
Mrs. Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Petros.
Yes.
Absent. Mr. Neely. Yes. Mr. Losuzo.
Yes.
Mr. Voracek.
Yes.
Mr. Brunelli. Yes. Mrs. Bradley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'll now open up to Mr. Parapato to provide a superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. We'll kick things off with our October students of the month and see one in attendance. Before a sec, we'll start down at the end. All right, our grade 6. Our grade 6 October student of the month is Brianna Rosette. Congratulations. From the teacher, your grade level had the following things to say about you. She is a respectful, kind young lady. She's always willing to help her classmates when willing and they are struggling. She is hardworking, self-advocating learner. She will continue to flourish as she meets every challenge with a solution. Congratulations. We're gonna take just a couple pictures if you don't mind.
Just a little. See what happens here on the grade. Perfect. There we go. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3.
All right, just in time. Our grade 8 October student of the month is Amelia Fernandez. Yes. Okay. The teachers in grade 8 have the following things to say about Amelia. She has maturity in her attitude towards her academics. She has shown general growth. She has a new sense of determination to improve and reach higher levels of achievement. She has an increase in self-confidence to step outside her comfort zone to immerse herself in new experiences. Congratulations.
Okay. Next one. bright shiny.
Yes, right. At this time, I'd ask, our student representative, Kara Augustine, to please give her to the
Good evening to our Little Ferry Board of Education, our school administrators, and all those joining us today. As the weather gets cold, the students of Little Ferry have been taking part in many activities this past month. Our fall sports teams have wrapped up their athletic season this year, including hosting a volleyball game, which was the first one in over 3 years. During the month of October, students participated in Red Ribbon Week, which highlights the importance of living drug-free and making safe and healthy choices by wearing specific clothing representing a different theme for each day of the week. In addition, presenter Matt Bocci visited with 8th graders from Little Ferry and Richfield Park to give an impactful presentation on his personal battle with drugs and alcohol, which was sponsored by Chief Walters and the LFP. Admin Roundtable represents last week, the student government attended Little Ferry's Veterans Day services. As an addition this year, the student government Field the Flags displayed as part of this service. The Field the Flags fundraiser raised money for the Wreath Across America organization. Student government was able to sponsor 5 wreaths to be laid at the gravesites of veterans during the nationwide event held on December 14th. Students had a blast at the Fall Harvest Dances that was sponsored by the PTA last Friday. This concludes all updates regarding the students of Little Ferry. Thank you.
The HIM report, we're watching the school, one since our last meeting, we was founded, and one who had 0 reports. Before I turn over this done, I just want to make sure everyone knows that our two stars of football and Kiwis and the junior going to 10 apply for their playoff game tomorrow at 6 o'clock and 7:30 in 10 apply. So we wish them the best of luck. And, of course, it'll be the coldest day of the year so far, but we do wish them the best of luck. If you want to go out and support, the game will be at 10 apply. Mr. Dunn, I now turn it over to you for the QSAC District Improvement Plan, which we call the DIP.
All right, so I'm just going to briefly go over what QSAC is, why we have a district improvement plan, and then what that is. So QSAC is annual monitoring every 3 years in the areas of instruction and programming, fiscal, governance, operations, and personnel. You have to score a minimum, or receive a minimum score of 80% or 80 points in each. And in instruction and programming, we received 74 points. There are 16 indicators in that. We received 34 points across the first 8 indicators, which are for the state assessments, the NJAS SLA. For indicators 8 and beyond, we received all 10 points for each of those. So based on those scores in ELA, math, science, as well as chronic absenteeism, we needed to create a district improvement plan. So we did across 4 areas. So for ELA, in order to improve those scores, the overall scores, as well as the growth measure, which means you get additional points based on how much each group grows. So the overall district, as well as every subgroup, including all ethnicities, special education, multilingual learners, and economically disadvantaged. So in order to do so, our goal by the end of this year, by 2025, is to increase from 51% passing to 56%, and by 2026 to be at 61%, which will put us at this state-determined progress goal, if you will. So when Every Student Succeed Act came about in 2015, the goal was to reach 80% or it was revised in 2022 after COVID And now it's at the 2032 goal to be at 80%. So the state has set forth a formula of improvement across. So that's our goal for 2026. Then we're focused on the areas, subgroups of Hispanic, Latino, Pacific Island, disabilities, and improve them by 5 percentage points this year and next year. To do so, over the course of last year, we focused on the new ELA standards, providing professional development and growth for our teachers, with myself, professional development providers, and our literacy coach. We did a deep dive analysis of the NJSLA, including all the evidence statements. So in somewhere between August and September, depending on how quick the state acts, we get a report saying not only how we did, but how we scored on against every standard. So we looked at that across the past 3 to identify any trends and any gaps in instruction so that we can focus on those. We'll also be providing targeted instruction for those who are struggling the most through a pull-out intervention. We provide high-impact tutoring, the Rise and Shine program, at 3 to 4 students to a teacher to provide extra support in ELA. And then we have what we call the bubble boost in our win period, our what I need now period, where we target those students who are just below grade level or are projected to score a level 3 based on our yearly our benchmark screener of iReady, so that we can boost them up to pass. And in doing so last year, from January through April, we saw an increase of those students we targeted 50% passed. So we're hoping, since we started in late September, that we'll see even more growth. Our next goal is for math. The overarching percentage is to go from 39% passing to eventually getting to 47%. It's a larger jump, but we've been averaging a 5% growth per year over the past 3 years. So we believe that will continue to grow. And then our final goal in 2026 is to get to 56%. These are ambitious goals, but if you set the bar high, you can achieve high. If you set the bar low, you achieve low. We'll also be targeting the same subgroups as ELA and looking for those incremental increases of 5% per year. The way we're doing this is actually the exact same as ELA. So we did a deep dive into the standards. We're a year ahead. In the end of August, the state said, oh, those new standards for math, we're going to let you roll them over to next year, but we had already prepared all those standards for this year. So we're a year ahead on that. We'll also be doing targeted intervention in the pull-out fashion for our students who are struggling the most, providing the Rise and Shine in a small group high-impact tutoring of 3 to 4 students to 1 teacher, and then also targeting that bubble boost. Something else we'll be doing is looking across the subgroups to identify those students who are in multiple subgroups, so that we can have multiple bubbles popped, if you will, or double bubble, to help support those students. Then there's science. Science, we don't back, so we had to do some deep dives and digging into this. The state rate was at 19%, and we were at 18.6, so just a little bit below the state. Our goal for next year is to get to 24%, and by 2026 to be at 30%, to almost double. Across the same subgroups as I've mentioned, our goal is to increase by 5% each over the course of the next 2 years. Slightly different how we're going to attack science. We did take a deep dive into the curriculum standards and focused on those, looked to make sure that we were addressing all the standards covered across our curriculum in 3 to 8, as well as making sure it's addressed in K to 2 to get those foundational skills, to have continuing professional development on the curricular resources that we use in the classroom, as well as outside professional development that we always seek last year into this year. We provided vertical articulation at the beginning of the year and throughout the year for grades 3 through 8, all the tested grades, so that science department can get together and start to plan out to make sure that there's no gaps as we move on. And then finally, in the vein of the bubble boost, we've started doing a bubble boost for science at the middle school level is where we first kicked it off, and we're hoping to bridge that gap down into the elementary as well. Our last goal is for chronic absenteeism, which is our district performance. So we were judged on 2023 numbers. We were at 26%. We're considered chronically absent. Last year, we dropped that to 90%. Our goal for this year is to be less than 10%, which would put us below chronic absenteeism. And I'm very happy to report that as of today, our percentage numbers were, we track it daily. I have some issue with data. Our district chronic absenteeism is at 7%. Washington School is at 6% and Memorial School is at 9%. So we're really pleased with that. Getting the kids here is half the battle into seeing them achieve long-term. So ways that we've done that is through family engagement nights, speaking with parents about the importance of chronic absenteeism, that every absent counts except for 2. Bring your child to work and a religious holiday. You had the flu, you had COVID, doesn't matter, it still counts towards your absences. You have to have less than 18. I started a golden clock. You may have heard of Miss Paragallo's golden lunchbox. I now have a golden clock. It is a gold clock with a chain around it. And every 2 weeks, I take the attendance of K to 2, 3 to 5, and 6 to 8 and find the homeroom who has the best attendance. And they win that, and they win a bonus recess during their win period. We have daily attendance calls going in at 8:45 to let the parents know. The principals are doing monthly calls home for any child that would be chronically absent for that month or up to date. So that's 2 absences a month is going to put you at chronically absent. So a lot of parents got calls about that just to let them know. We've also put attendance wanted signs outside of the classroom, so the teachers monitor their homeroom attendance and track that as both a math activity, but a way to keep them, the students engaged. We also partnered with our before and after care to ensure that we're offering half-day aftercare, because we found that when we didn't offer half-day aftercare, there were a greater number of absences. And that is our district improvement plan.
Thank you. Very thorough. And for the board to know and public to know too, there's not an admin, we meet as an admin group at least once a week. And chronic absenteeism with conversation, I would say almost every single meeting, along with the data. So we're taking this outreach very serious. Those goals that he spoke of are goals that are kind of given to us, and then we need to figure out how to get to those goals. So they are, some of them are lofty goals, but I think we have the right staff here, the right personnel here to achieve those goals. But it's going to take a lot of work on a lot of people's ends, but our staff has been working extremely hard. I notice by the improvement every year. The idea is just to keep improving. So thank you. And yeah,
what happens when a child has some sort of long-term medical absence? I mean, we're talking, something hospital or something like that.
As a district, we would not be for it all depends. This is different levels of it. If they're long-term absence, we put them on home instruction, certain things of that nature where it's looking at that we call it. But as far as the district, we as a board, actually, we revamped our attendance policy last year to take into account some of those things. So when we're looking at which families to really, make those phone calls to and write things up and make sure they're aware, we're leaving those families like a woman. We know that you have a child who's had the flu twice, they've been out for 10 days. We're not really going after those families and saying like, hey, this is your fault, you've got to get to school. It's when they're not reported or they're just unexcused absences are on all right. So even though the state doesn't view it as an excused absence, we as a district view it as an excused absence.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
All right, thank you, Mr. Parapato.
That concludes my report. And
I was just gonna say, to the students of the month, and parents first, congratulations on behalf of the entire board. You're welcome to stay the rest of the meeting, but you're welcome to go, your decision, but we won't be offended if you go. All right, we'll now open it up to Mr. Gomez for the board secretary report.
Good evening, everyone. So for facilities, we're preparing a bid for our unit ventilators. So that will be going out. We'll probably go out to bid the second week in January. We gave authorization for them, for our attorney to write the front end, which is the actual bid. So we're moving ahead on that. We're also looking at other options for the kitchen. We've been working at that with the architect, maybe moving it over here. So, and I'll tell you how we're going to pay for it in a couple of minutes. So food service. So just some numbers. So for Washington School, I'm going to give you the big picture. In 2023, we served 3,725 meals. In 2024, October, we served 5,497. For the middle school, 2023, 3,259 meals. October 2024, 4,631. So what does that translate to? So for the month of October, net profit was $28,597.54. Year to date, 2 months, we've made $41,981,036 in profit. And that's how we're gonna pay for it. We're pacing, this is a conservative estimate. We're gonna break 200,000 on a break-even contract. So, yep, so that's food service, things that were, well, for finance, we're gonna be recommending that we return $2.033 million back to the capital reserve. We were using the capital reserve to kick off the project. So we'll be returning that to the capital reserve. We used 467,000 for all the plans and getting that all prepped. We closed October in 14 days. Yeah, 14 days instead of 60. So the streak is still alive. What are we working on? So we completed the district report of transported students. That report was completed. That's how we get our transportation aid. We are working on the application for state and school aid, and that's exactly what it means. That's how we get our state aid. Right now, for the K-8, we're up 30 students over last year in the building. So that'll translate into an increase in state aid. But there's other factors that might, cut into that. So there's 17 factors that go into the state aid. If anybody ever wanted to know. So we're also going to kick off the field work for the audit starting tomorrow. So, and that the due date's actually been changed to January 15th for that. But be above board. The state has been late with the audits every year for the last 4 years due to some changes that were done 4 years ago. So they release their numbers, we won't get our final audit, but that we're kicking that off. So that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gomez. And I,
Why would the student need teaching over here?
Free up space,
Free up space.
free up space, it'll be an additional classroom, and it just makes more sense to travel the food from the annex to here.
Oh, you're not talking about taking the kitchen out across the street?
No, not at all, that's.
No.
Okay, please, thanks.
all right, I see that our 7th grade student of the month came in, Mr. Carapato.
No problem. Mr. Borzak? All right, our 7th grade student of the month for October is Isla Rodriguez. Congratulations. So the teacher in grade 7 had a comment to say on Isla. Very conscientious, hardworking student with a positive outlook and attitude in and outside the classroom. She's committed to her work each day. She is friendly to her peers and makes friends quickly. She has excellent behavior and collaboration with her classmates. She's an absolute pleasure to have in the classroom. Congratulations. Yeah, people let you take one, we're gonna invite you.
Oh, thank you.
Grade 1, 2, 3.
Want to take a picture first and then come in, or do you want to come in?
Whatever they use.
Up to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Great, all for being. There we go. Sorry. Have a good day.
Slides here. One, three, one, two. Good.
Take a look, Mom. Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you.
1, 2, 3. That's a bunch.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll now open it up to committee reports. Mrs. Bertoli for personnel.
I guess personnel met on Monday evening. New special education program for autism is, established to begin for September of 2025. This program will provide applied behavioral analysis for PPP and speech services. We're updating our data title to registrar and data management specialist correlated with the job description. In addition, move the position from a 10-month to 12-month position. Mrs. O'Shea, our assistant to VA, is being approved as a temporary board secretary in the event of Mr. Gomez's absence from our meetings. We're also going to begin a new search for the new year for a new math coach. Our current math coach is accepting position elsewhere, and we wish him the best of luck. And also, we will begin discussions for administration contracts.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Bertoli. And on behalf of the entire board, we wish much. All right, Mrs. Millisuso for education.
Mr. Goldman, ready to go. Send the report. I don't have anything to add.
Great, thank you. Mr. Benelli for finance.
Finance met on Monday night. We discussed possible summer projects, the event project, kitchen relocation. Discussed possible purchase of a new bus. And 2025-2026 budget update, planning for the 2026 staffing and student supplies.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mealy for policy.
Policy did not have.
Mrs. Patel for transportation. We did not have a meeting. Thank you. And as far as the expansion project goes for the new middle school, we don't have any news to share other than we are preparing to go to bid this winter. Mr. Borisek for the Borough Liaison Report.
A very similar report. There's nothing to be going on.
Great. Mr. Feitros for Richmond Park.
Meeting yesterday was up there.
And Mrs. Gottlieb for NJSBA.
Okay, I didn't go to the convention, which I missed, and I missed being able to, and I thank Michelle for her goodie bag for me. But there is a meeting coming up in December in the Hackensack High School. They're talking about what they're doing to retain teachers, and they're also honoring all the departing board members. So I'm departing, I will go to that. So at 6 o'clock, December 6th, at Hackensack High School. And that's my report.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Gottlieb. We'll now open it up for public comment on agenda items only.
Good evening. Donna Duran, 16 Samina Street. I just have a couple questions. On resolution DO 185. Let me get to it. We're changing the job title from registrar to registrar and data management specialist. Are we changing the job description?
You can keep going. Oh, that's it.
No, I prefer if you answer me now, because
It's
if I have
not public
questions or,
question, it's public comment, so you can speak, and I will answer at the end. Go ahead.
if you want to answer,
Yes, I want to
Okay.
answer.
I thought answering questions is part of the public comment.
It's not public comment.
Okay, so job description, I'll wait for an answer. The duty for the registrar, is it for straight through to registrar for pre-K to high school from start to end? I have to wait for an answer for that too. Why change the job description? Wait for an answer for that too. I feel the job description nor the job should not be changed in the middle of the school year. It's a lot of money that we are granting this employee. There's no reason to change the job, I feel, in the middle of the school year. I feel that we should wait until the budget comes up and basically do it that way. Now I'm gonna wait for my questions for resolution P 128. The new job title. The increase was about 20. Starting salary for that when she was hired was $47,000. We jumped from $47,000 to $65,000. I understand that basically it was only in the beginning a 10-month position, so we increased it to 12 months. My question is, we've increased it, which I don't know because I didn't get an answer yet, if the job description was changed, what was added, what was omitted. I don't have an answer to that, so I can't have you answer me and then I can come back to you if you're gonna answer that. My other thing is, maybe the BA would answer this, Mr. Gomez. We have the extra $18,000 to give this employee in the budget.
Like the superintendent, I'll answer.
Okay, that's new to me. Okay, then I can enlighten the board on certain things. We're jumping from $47,000 to $65,000. That's a 20% increase. When I was on the board, my goal was, along with the entire board and especially board president Bradley, when there were employees that we all felt that they did above and beyond and they did extra duties. So basically, they should have gotten an increase for their extra duties that they did. So what we did was we polled all the surrounding towns. We did the extra duties. These 4 employees got 3% like everybody else and an extra $3,000 for the extra duties that they do. We know that everybody in the district does extra duties because when I worked here, on the bottom of your contract before you sign it, it states that whatever the superintendent feels that you should do, you should do. I'm not saying that the person should not be getting an increase. What I'm saying is it should not be done in the middle of the school year. That's all basically I'm saying. There's employees here that did get their job title changed and they did get an increase, but they did not get an increase like this. This is a very large increase. There's an employee that's been here for over 15 years that works on the weekends, that works close. This employee right now is only making maybe $5,000 from what this increase from this employee. So that's all I have to say. And I just find it very offensive that my questions were not answered when I asked. That's a new one on me, Mr. Carapato.
I will construct my response and I will give you a call when I have a constructed response.
I don't agree. For the record, I do not agree with that at all. Because what his response is to me, then I'd like you people to hear that. That's not how we run this. That's not how we treat the public. At all. So why I'm at it now, I'll ask my other question. Hopefully I'll get a response from this. Well, Mr. Laterza is leaving, okay? So he's leaving in the middle of the year. Does he go? I have to wait for a response for that too.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Mr. Laterza was leaving in the middle of the school year. His salary is still budgeted in. So that remaining salary that we have left over, does that go into the remaining of the budget? Does that go into capital gains? Hello?
I'm writing down your question.
Okay. Help him, Ross. DO 179, is my time up?
I haven't been recording it.
DO 179. The speech therapist that has been working in the district since September. Is that what the resolution states? So the speech therapist is full-time? Moving with the behaviorist is part-time. What are the behaviorist part-time hours? There's two amounts here. DO 180. When Caitlin becomes Mr. Gomez, is that an extra stipend that's gonna be added, or is that part of her duties? DO 182. When all the administrators are leaving on the tech support, tech expo, who's going to be in charge? And when you send me my questions back, Mr. Parapata, I want them in an email. Thank you.
Anything else for public comment on agenda items only? Okay, we'll now move to a block vote. F43 to F46, DO 175 to DO 188, P123 to P128, FA12, and C14. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Second.
Mrs. Bertoli,
Yes, but I abstained from PO 099326. PO 099326.
Mrs. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros.
Yeah.
Mrs. Gottlieb.
Yes.
Mr. Mealy. Mr. Lozzo,
Yes.
Mr. Borisek. Yes. Mr. Brunelli,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradley.
Yes.
All resolutions passed.
Great, we'll now open up for public comment on non-agenda items. Okay,
Donna Duran, 16 Sabina Street.
you woke up there.
Sorry. Did we get approval back yet from the DEP, because it's on the permits for the land use? Because it's gonna be coming up to close to the 90 days.
We'll write it down and we'll put it in.
So this is how it's gonna always work moving forward when a person comes up to ask questions, correct?
I mean, it's public comment. We just don't want to engage in public conversation about the other responses.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a